Hey everybody, it's Almanax and welcome back to the Final Fantasy Collector Booster Arena Direct. This is our chance to win a physical Collector Booster box of Final Fantasy cards on Magic Arena. Without further ado, let's just get into it. This is going to be a 6-pack sealed event, 6 packs of Final Fantasy, playing best of one sealed, hoping to open better cards than our opponents and draw better cards than our opponents. Wow. Okay, this is the most rares we've opened. We have a scroll wheel. We opened so many rares. That said, there are a few in here that don't really count. They're kind of unplayable. A lot of the equipment tend to be just too expensive and dirtily. The Masamune and Excalibur II are not really doing much, although we have 2 copies of Gilgamesh, so that makes them a little bit better. We can plop them onto the board with Gilgamesh, although with enough good common and uncommon equipment, especially the ones with job select that come with creatures attached, we can hopefully just play these with those instead. Nibelheim of Flame, great potential one-sided board wipe. If you have a big creature on the board, you can blow up every other creature, but keep that one out, and it flashes back and draws you cards while it's at it, which is pretty sick. Triple Triad's basically unplayable in 1v1, so that's not very exciting. Dark Confidant, if we're pretty aggressive and have a low mana curve, is cool. Cloud Siege In, not playable in 1v1. It's a 7 mana 5/5 trample. You don't care about the triple mana in 1v1 sealed. So 7 mana for a 5/5, pretty bad. So there's a lot of duds here. There's a lot of duds here that pull this back to just being like an average sealed pool, because I think Nyx Bloom Ancient, the Masamune, Excalibur II, and Triple Triad should not go into basically any deck. But Double Gilgamesh goes real hard if we have the good equipment for them, so that's what I'm the most excited about here. Let's see what we've got. We look at our equipment. Man, you can't keep doing this to me, Arena. Get 2 Gilgamesh and then open a sealed pool where they just don't do anything. Just a first striker attacker and force chumps is really whatever for 3 to play and 2 to equip. Obviously, if we have stuff that triggers when creatures are dying, it kind of pops off, but there's just nothing except like Sephiroth, and we obviously didn't open a Sephiroth. And then Excalibur, we have to be a dedicated life gain deck, which just doesn't work in sealed. I only opened 1 equipment in red to go with the 2 Gilgamesh. So the 2 Gilgamesh are also useless at this point, it looks like. Like, unless we go Rakdos, we go red and black, then we have 3 equipment in the entire deck. Unless I play one of these really bad equipment, just to try to get more Gilgamesh value. It's bad. That's a pretty big bummer. Let's see what else we've got, though. What were the other powerful cards we could go after? The single Nibelheim of Flame is still pretty strong, and Dark Confidant is still pretty strong, and Moogle's Valor. So that's still 3 really nice rares. Yuffie's good if we can go blue-black, but that obviously doesn't fit with the red and the white rare here. Alright, we may have opened up a high quantity of rares, but more than half of them are useless. The 2 Gilgamesh, the Triple Triad, the Cloud Siege In, the Excalibur, and the Masamune. That is almost more of a bummer than just opening 6 rares. What do we have for fixing here? 1 Blitzball, no world map. Oh wait, no, we've got 1 world map. None of the town that we play has any color, though. 3 dual lands total and only 2 multicolored spells is surprising. So that's interesting as well. Alright, let's just take a peek at all of our colors individually and just see what looks best here, because I don't think the rares are a massive pull to this pool. Outside of, if they're in good colors here, like Moogle's Valor. Our white looks pretty decent. We want a lot more artifacts than we have, though, for these Gala Cats. But those can be really good. Stroke of Midnight's pretty bad removal in 1v1. Phoenix down. We don't have anything great to reanimate it with it here, so it depends on our secondary color. Only 1 removal spell, and it's really inconsistent with Slash of Light. So white looks pretty mid, Moogle's Valor being the big reason to try to play the color. Blue now. A lot of interaction here. We have Sleep Magic, Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum for ways to tap something and keep it tapped, and then Ice Magic and Eject for bounce spells. Pretty decent. Good card draw with Dreams of Laguna and Endwalker. Sahagins always fun. Pixie and then Ultros, which is like Sahagins' sad cousin. Got Rook Turrets and Ice Flan high up on the curve. These are both really filler. Yeah, blue has decent interaction. couple good creatures, basically the 2-mana creatures here. Black, double cornered by Black Mages and Sephiroth's Intervention for removal. The double Black Mages Rod is nice with all this removal as well. 2 Black Mages Rod and 2 cornered by Black Mages. Those can get a lot of pings throughout the game, whether or not our opponent has blockers up or not. So that's kind of exciting. Some kind of black, somewhat controlling deck with a lot of good instant and sorcery kind of removal spells could be nice. I accidentally cut a card, so now I can't do the button thing. All right, here we go. Red, triple Call the Mountain Chocobo is hilarious with our blue cards that care about casting spells that cost 4 or greater, so that's funny. Prompto, only if we're really aggressive, and this is a low creature count, so I don't think we are. Rapier's pretty weak. This looks like a solid support color, like a splash color maybe, for a controlling deck focused around casting a lot of spells. So could it be some kind of Grixis deck here? I guess even then it's not the greatest, right? Because it's really all about the Nibelheim Flame, and that's double red, which is kind of a difficult splash. But the Call the Mountain Chopos help. If we get 1 red source, we cast that, get another mountain, cast the Aflame. Yeah, red's... For the amount of rares and the mythic that we have here, red is surprisingly mid. I mean, Rapier's just really bad. Prompto's super filler unless you're super aggressive. Blazing Bomb's super bad. Laughing Mad's incredibly filler. Request only works if you're super aggressive, and it doesn't look like we have a good super aggressive color pair. We have from green... Okay, Cloud Siege not playable. A couple ramp spells. Decent creatures throughout the curve. Cactuar's pretty bad, though. Green looks fine. Not super exciting, but fine. And that's kind of the same for all of our colors, which is awkward. Makes it harder to choose what we're doing. We've got a lot of fixing to splash around if we play green, though. Fenrir, Wanderings, and Reach the Horizon all tutor for any land we want. Put it on the battlefield. Yeah, I mean, green does look okay. Some super jank filler in the colorless, like all this stuff. But the Blitzball and the world map for splashing is pretty much what colorless gets us. And multicolored, a grand total of 2 cards, neither are super interesting. Yuffie's fun at least. To play blue-black for that. Man, okay, so we open up a bunch of pretty synergy-driven rares and none of the synergy for those rares. Even the Nibelheim of Flame, we're on such a low creature count in red, it doesn't even work that well as removal. We have to pair it with, like, green at the core, I guess, for some beefy creatures. This is an awkward, difficult sealed pool here. I think some kind of Grixis control thing is maybe the best we got. Blue-black at the core gives us the Yuffie. Vincent's Limit Break looks bad. Evil Reawakened not going to be great. So all of our creatures are going to be really small. Just spam a bunch of spells mostly. Just play the Mountain Chocobos, Suplex, and Nibelheim of Flame. It's a 40-card deck right there. This is a deck, I guess. The funnest thing we can be doing. Nothing else looks considerably more powerful. To play a Blitzball and a world map as well if we need that fixing. Got 1 town in the whole deck, so the poo-poo UFO's pretty poo-poo. I don't want to play Eden in a 3-color deck. Like, this gives us a good piece of card draw if we flood out. The problem is that tapping for colorless is a pretty major downside when you are 3 colors. Do get the Yuffie. Laughing Mads can trigger the Hagen and Ultros. I think I have enough stuff to trigger them when it's only 2 cards in the whole deck anyway. And I have on-color card draw. Doesn't require the splash. Play world map over a land. That'll be our 17th land. 2 more cuts. Triple Call the Mountain Chocobo might probably still be a lot. Down to 2. 1 more cut. Brainstorm is actually our worst piece of card draw. So we only have one way in the whole deck to shuffle. Well, I guess the Call the Mountain Chocobo shuffle as well is 3 ways to shuffle. Still not a lot. It's going to be basically 1 mana to be up 1 card. It's just a cantrip, really. We spend a card to draw a card, because we draw 3, put 2 back. We've spent a Brainstorm. Yeah, it's like 1 mana, draw 1. But just extra card selection. Yeah, I'm just going to cut that here, I think. Alright. Grixis Spellslinger, the deck. We actually have a really aggressive curve of creatures, which is what made me perfectly fine keeping Tonberry in here, even though this only works on the aggressive. We kind of want to push a bunch of damage early and then finish off with a bunch of Black Mage pings between the 4 copies of different Black Mage spells. And our very high non-creature spell count, because even a lot of our creatures count as non-creature spells. The Chocobos, cornered by Black Mage's Rod, all that stuff. So Grixis Spellslinger's the deck. Let's make sure the mana base is as good as we can make it. 10 black cards, 9 blue, and 4 red. 7, 6, 4. Cut down on red a little farther, because again, just Call the Mountain Chocobo, then Nibelheim of Flame is going to be the plan, or have a Blitzball for it. So I'm going to cut 1 red. I have no double blue cards, so I think I just need to go really deep on black. 8 black sources, 6 blue sources, 1 of anything. That's gonna have to do. We will call it a deck here, hop in the gameplay, and see how it does. Here we are for game number 1. Keep this hand. Tonberry's not a good creature with ninjutsu, because we don't want to pick this up and replay with another stun counter. But we can just hard cast Yuffie on turn 3. We're on the draw here. There's a Sleep Magic to try to get a blocker out of the way. Eject to get a blocker out of the way. Ways to try to get Yuffie to trigger here. Monk's Fist is the first play. Eject is really good against the tokens, so I enjoy that. I'm not going to Sleep Magic the token. Opponent's got the curve out on the play. 2-drop, 3-drop. Always painful. Tonberry does not put in a lot of work on blocks, but 2 power is actually enough to trade up into this Paladin's Arms. Yeah, at this rate we have to play the defensive. We're on the draw here. Let's just hold the Tonberry back. They have no way to add any extra toughness to the 3-2 here on board. Heck dies. I got extra lands. I'll ditch an island. We made it. First Heck dies in a while I didn't really care about. It's a rarity. Send that in, sure. They have to double block to try to kill Yuffie unless they have a combat trick here. Chump block it is. Fair. Still happy to eject the token. Alternatively, I can play Black Mage's Rod, so that I get a ping off of every spell, but that's a lot less mana efficient. Yeah, let's just play the 4-drop on 4 mana. I'll take this damage, so that if they play a better card, I can eject that. They have not. They have Vane's Treachery. This is rough. They can sacrifice that, kill Yuffie. Sephiroth's Intervention, that's fine. That would happen regardless. And that way I still draw the card. Okay. Flyer and a Black Mage's Rod. They're down to 2 cards in hand, and I have 2 removal spells in hand. I feel kind of favored here. Because if those 2 cards are just 2 decent creatures, we blow them up and keep damage coming in. A little awkward. If they're 2 removal spells, then we're going to have to sit on our butt here for a while. It's a solid draw. Yeah, I guess we can get 2 Chocobos off this thing over these next couple turns. Trade this Chocobo into their wizard on the ground. Fine, I'm not going to spend a removal spell on it. At 18 life. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, Mega Bomb has arrived. I can let them keep this by sleep magicking it. But then they will end up drawing the extra cards here, which I don't want them to do, so we'll Sephiroth's Intervention it. Alright, winning the race on board. They're playing off the top, but we have 2 spells at our disposal. So again, feeling pretty favored here. Spend a blue and an additional. I can do that after I call the Mountain Chocobo. I think I gotta do this and push damage here. We're swinging for like 8 next turn. If we do this, potential 2-turn kill if we draw any non-creature spell. I guess not quite. Hello, that's a draw. Don't actually need to cast it right now, but it's very nice to have. Removal spell from our opponent. Fair. Just deal 3, put them to 6. This damages creatures only, doesn't damage players, so. Yes. I should have played my land per turn for 1 extra damage, but I guess I can wait and do that next turn. 2-turn kill regardless. Alright. Blood out from our opponent there in the end. Fair enough. We are 1-0 heading into game 2. Game 2 on the draw again. Turn 1 Tonberry again. Pretty similar stuff right now. Pretty suspicious arena. We can world map for a red source here. The hand's not that similar. It's really just turn 1 Tonberry on the draw. That's the same. I don't think it'd be insane to Ice Magic this Gardener and just slow our opponent down, but just gonna set up our mana while we have the mana to do it, and then save the Ice Magic to bounce something back to the top later. Actually, a fine argument for getting a black source off world map there, considering we do have the double black removal spells, the 2 copies. If they don't play a land here, I might just lock down their mana dork. Okay, they do play a land. Just a tap land. Ooh. Don't want to play Stuck in Summoner Sanctum when I can Nibelheim a Flame their entire board whenever I find another red. So that's the game plan now. Draw into red mana, so play the potential card draw creature. Plus, obviously, a Death Toucher is incredible with this, but I already have a Death Toucher with Nibelheim of Flame. Tonberry counts too. During our turn. I believe it's the creature that deals the damage. Yes. It deals damage. Not Nibelheim of Flame deals damage. It, referring to the creature you target. 5 color, play all of my rares. Deck from our opponents. Blue, black, green, red, and white mana available on their board. It's a risky gambit, when you draw the right colors, it goes pretty well, and it feels like whenever I run against it, our opponents draw all the right colors. Also known as literally every color. So Blitzball for us, speaking of, that is going to be the 2nd red we need for Nibelheim of Flame. So we actually kind of hope they resolve something really good here. If they go for any removal spell on Tonberry, we'll have to bounce our own Tonberries that I'm confident I can still wipe the board if need be. As much as it sucks having to replay it with a stun counter, it would be worth it. Keep our safety valve, whoop button available. So I'm going to hold Ice Magic up at all times, which would mean playing land for turn first, and then call the Mountain Chocobo. Or Ice Magic on Tonberry first in response to removal here, then call the Mountain Chocobo. Okay, they don't kill it. I'm giving them an opportunity if I don't play land first, but if I do this, they can't respond to call the Mountain Chocobo by killing Tonberry. Cool. What they're up to here. Still pretty suspicious. Don't have the mana to flashback call the Mountain Chocobo while holding up Ice Magic. Double block a Chocobo. Okay. Just got nothing in hand here. This is a weird world we live in right now. Could Ice Magic that? It's not necessary immediately though. I can call the Mountain Chocobo and Ice Magic next turn. There's so many rares they could just drop that are like a million creatures off one spell, so I'm just kind of playing around that. As that's kind of their only out right now. This is such a strange game, because they've just done like pretty much nothing. Here I am giving them one opportunity to Ice Magic or Tonberry before we hit the mountain, but they haven't done it so far. It's so unlikely to happen at that exact moment. We're down to 10. We have 5 power on our board. There's a Wanderings. Yeah, they are just ramping and hoping to draw their rares and not doing it. Could be Bahamut. Like the 9 mana destroy something when it hits the board. We win the game against that. They play it, try to kill Tonberry. I put Tonberry back to our hand, and then we recast Tonberry, Nibelheim of Flame, kill their Bahamut. And they have no cards left. Whereas we have a Tonberry and a Nibelheim of Flame we can flashback to draw for. Yeah, we can beat Bahamut, which is like the big 9 mana mythic rare. So it feels like we can beat most cards, but it's hard to say what they have when they could cast literally any card in the set here. I guess most of the cards that we couldn't beat would be bonus sheet cards that are kind of hard to think of because they're so rare. What, like Atraxa? Yeah, Atraxa would destroy us. Draw a million cards off just casting it, so they wouldn't have to overcommit into the board wipe if that's the play. Well, landfall trigger. We're jamming, we're vibing. Eject my own Pixie now that we have the extra mana. Didn't have to flashback a 6 mana card here. Worst case scenario, they respond by casting a removal spell on Pixie, which would counter my draw card here. So that'd be a little bit of a bummer. I think this is still worth doing. Sure. Could also cast Ice Magic, but then I don't have Tonberry Nibelheim Flame. Or I don't have it to protect Tonberry Nibelheim Flame. Ignis can make a food every single turn. Gain 3 every single turn. Okay, I have to stick him in the Summoner's Sanctum. I'll wait till I have Ice Magic up. Three more Tonberry hits and we're there. Has Tonberry dealt every single point of damage this game? I honestly wouldn't be surprised. It's been a long one. That would be really funny, though. Just one Tonberry slowly coming up and stabbing over and over and over and over again. 10 times in a row. Okay, Death Toucher. But we've got First Strike Death Touch on attacks, so they still have no blocks. That's a little scary because they've got the mana 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to buff it once on attacks and hit for 5. We still outrace them by a little bit. So I'm not going to Nibelheim a Flame one creature. That's an incredible draw. Should be a one draw card. We got that too. I would like to draw into that. The really important part is they can flash it back and do it again. If they want to buff the Ochu here, they can't cast anything else this turn. They have to just tap out for deal 5. Saws. Great Bomb rare. Searches for any bird in their deck. One of the best rares in the whole set. They opened 2 Chocobos to go with them. 2 Saw's Chocobos. Whoa, okay. We got some scary stuff over there. If their last card in hand is instant speed removal for Tonberry to counter Nibelheim Flame, I'm going to lose it. Because that's the only way they still win here. Okay, Sephiroth's Intervention gives us a backup plan for a turn to still set up the flashback of Nibelheim Flame. Ayo! Tonberry completely demolishing Cloud's hometown. The citizens are in ashes in the Tonberry's wake. Devastating. Villainous. They only have 3 mana up here, so they can't flash back the thing. Oh, is this the return 2 creatures from your grave to your hand? They're still dead on board to that. Yeah, they can recast those and then die to the Tonberry, because I can flash back the Nibelheim Flame. I need to watch this game back, but I think every damage was Tonberry. I think we just attacked with it every single turn and hit them 10 times in a row. I think that was genuinely the game, which is absolutely hilarious. Unless they kill Tonberry here. No, it's just the removal for it. We can Ice Magic. Kind of have to, so I still have access to Nibelheim Flame. Like, it is also very funny to do this, but this is mainly because I think it's also just the right play here. Don't have any haste creatures I can draw. I do have a lot of cards that I can draw that ping my opponent every time I cast a spell, so I'm going to wait to Sephiroth's Intervention until I draw for turn. Land. Alright, that's straight garbage. If I don't Intervention Ignis, I'm letting them get a food and go to not dead on board. I mean, this is stunned, so it's not attacking next turn either. I guess we let them keep Ignis then. 3 turns to kill them either way. It's so sad though, because I was getting so excited about the hitting them with absolutely nothing but Tonberry for the kill. Not gonna be the case anymore. I don't think they should have played Saws here unless they top-decked removal, so I'm kind of concerned that means they top-decked the instant speed removal to respond to Nibelheim Flame. That said, because recasting Nibelheim Flame makes me discard a card anyway, I could just Intervention Saws in the end step and then go for the Nibelheim Flame regardless. Because if I go for Nibelheim Flame, I lose Sephiroth's Intervention either way, so I can definitely Sephiroth's Intervention Saws. Oh, that can exile Nibelheim Flame. It doesn't have to exile creatures. That's pretty good to know. That was a punt then. I was completely thinking about the ability to exile creatures there, and nothing else. Dark Coffron's a really good draw. Well, we might have punted that. I mean, that was definitely a punt. We did punt, but we might have punted the game. Oh my god. Yeah, because then there's one of those rares that spits out multiple creatures off one card, where the only out would be a board wipe like Nibelheim Flame. Brutal. At least we hit most of our lands, so we do still have a chance of drawing just anything good here. Still have a lot of removal in the deck to deal with Dion. But that would be a tilting ending here. That I just punted because I forgot Ignis can get our flashback card. We do draw 2 for starting this turn. Come on, baby. Land. Yuffie. Can't believe I forgot the exile out of grave. That's so tilting. That's just obnoxiously bad. And we just had this unlock if I just shot Ignis. Doesn't get Vigilance, does it? Doesn't get Vigilance. Still a lot of combinations of 2 cards that can flip this game back in our favor. They milled any lands over there? They've milled no lands. There's a lot. There should be a huge land clump in their deck. They have milled 0 lands. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 lands on board. There's half their deck is lands at this point. Which is wild. It's not an artifact. Which is horrible. You can get rid of Ignis. And they can hit for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the sky. How many mana value 4 cards do I have left in my deck? 1 Call the Mountain Chocobo. Pretty unlikely to top deck lethal off Yuffie. Especially because, yeah, they're getting a food here. Yeah. So they could just block Yuffie and take 2 also. Gonna have a lot of lethal top decks here, especially if they did hit their final 4 lands here, clump a tiny bit on this draw. Dreams of Laguna, cornered by black mages. That's a huge one. The double cast from Dreams of Laguna, obviously incredible here. They kind of have to sack Bahamut here. If they sack the untapped creature, they're going to take too much on board. Yep. See if we find removal for that. Ping them while we're at it. Surveil 1 draw, goodbye land. Come on. Surveil 1 draw. Call the Mountain Chocobo. It's 1 more ping at worst. They're essentially 5 at that point. I'm going to go block here. Yuffie might kill them. Block Yuffie, and that puts them to 1. I think I keep this then. Yeah, they have to block Yuffie. So we put them to 1 here. 2 blockers up. I think I have mountains left. I have 2 lands left in the whole deck because of that little clump we get there. Final top deck for our opponent. We have no cards in the deck that cost more than 3, so Dark Confident can't kill us. We've already drawn all of our more expensive cards. Honestly, the most expensive card in the whole deck is 4 mana. Nibelheim of Flame, Call the Mountain Chocobo, Sephiroth's Intervention. This is a really good Dark Confidant deck. I think they're just on Prey. Dark Confidant kills us at this point. What if they have Blitzball? +3/+3 trample? 7 power? If they have exactly Blitzball shot, we die, but who on earth is going to play a Blitzball shot in a 5-color deck? That's splashing into a bunch of rares. If they have the Blitzball shot here, I will absolutely tweak. Leviathan? Thank God. That was so astronomically close to punting the game, it's not even funny. Ignis can exile anything. Ignis can exile flashback spells. Ignis can exile flashback spells. Retain this information. We're 1-0 heading into game 2. Oh, we're 2-0 heading into game 3. That game was so long, I thought it was all one super big long game. All right, 2-0, 50-50 at worst, which is really good considering how bad we played. Nibelheim of Flame with a Death Toucher. Solid interaction, especially hitting another black source. Don't get to Nibelheim of Flame till super late, but that's generally when you want to do it. Green-white, Dreams Laguna is a beautiful draw. Give us something to do early that helps us find the mana we need for everything else. Saz's Chocobo. Let's find a swamp. You are not a swamp. Mill draw. Not a swamp. Draw for turn, not a swamp. Oh, they can't attack through the Death Toucher here. Force removal. Ranger, Captain of Eos. Pull out a 1-drop from their deck into their hand. Not really looking for the red source. Cornered by Black Mages is fine here. But I think I'm really digging for red to where it might be just hold up Dreams of Laguna or a kick to Ice Magic. And probably just flashback Dreams of Laguna if something real bad doesn't happen here. If they go for a green removal spell where they have to have their creature shoot mine, I'll cast Ice Magic to counter it. Otherwise, I'm just going to be flashing back here. Like if it's any other color of removal where the Ahriman just dies, period. Alright, we're taking 3. 17. There's the Stiltskin. A Bard's Bow. Oh, that Nibelheim Flame would be so good. It's crazy. Surveil draw. Call the Mountain Chocobo. Nope. Call the Mountain Chocobo. Nope. Call the mountain itself off the top? Nope. It's another Death Toucher in case Ahriman dies now, which is pretty good. Now I just need to buy time. I need to make sure I'm stopping some damage here whether or not I cast Nibelheim Flame next turn. Cornered by Black Mages still looks awful. Just killing a Moogle. So... Ice Magic for 2 on the token. 2 mana on a Pixie, 2 mana for Ice Magic for 2. Doesn't seem crazy. Obviously, I am accepting that the Pixie's going to die to Nibelheim Flame if things go right. And we survive long enough, but the Pixie also helps try to surveil towards it if we don't naturally hit red next turn. I'm gonna draw one off Stiltskin is cute. That in response to any removal. It might be worth the trade now. Because I have the backup Tonberry for Nibelheim Flame. But if I take this trade, I'm opening up the floodgates for the Chocobo to start jamming. There we go. They have 5 cards in hand. Post-wipe. I don't have anything to play that doesn't just die to the wipe, though, so let's just do it. Yeah. Land 7 for the flashback off the top. That's not actually bad. Because, sure, they're probably going to kill our Ahriman, but I have the Tonberry. So if I get to 8 mana, I can just go Tonberry, Nibelheim Flame. Oops. I will wipe again. Renoa. Recasting Nibelheim Flame makes me discard my whole hand anyway. So it's not crazy to cast some nonsense here. And again, even if I Nibelheim a Flame just to kill 1 or 2 creatures, I'm drawing 4 on the recast. So it's worth it. We do need to make sure they don't have the mana to kill my creature in response, though. And they've just got a single mana, so that shouldn't be enough. Reach blocker is indeed annoying. So I don't actually get to get damage in here. It's actually more damage to cast Nibelheim of Flame now when something is equipped with Black Mage's Rod, so it's a double ping instead of pinging for just 1 if I attack in. Yeah, double ping. Well, I have to discard Eject. If I have Flame now. What if I just eject the bow? Is that crazy? Ping for 2, hit for 3 in the sky. That's pretty good damage, honestly. I don't think that's crazy to do here. The biggest risk in doing things this way is it gives them more opportunities to hold up mana to respond to Nibelheim of Flame later if they find instant speed removal. But just 1 mana up again. One more damage to them if I keep the wizard, but 4 less damage to me is probably more important. Definitely more important if we draw a Dark Confidant like that. They're down to 3. I guess I play the Rod and they're down to 2, and then just like re-equip Call the Mountain Chocobo as the kill. They hit for like 3 max though. I'm gonna Dark Confidant. Again, the most expensive cards in our deck are 4. Ooh, gain 3. That makes Confidant sketchier. But that's lethal, I believe. Because they don't have reach this turn. Yep, double ping hit for 3. Cast the world map first before they potentially kill the flyer, so I know I get the extra pings. But they don't kill the flyer. Alright. I live in fear at all times, but we get another victory, and we're 3-0 with this deck, guaranteed a positive record and guaranteed to get some of our gems back. Excuse me, some of our gems back no matter how things go from here. Game 4. No black sources in the opener is real bad, but the world map is the first black mana, which makes it barely a keep. Oh. The second double black spell. Uh-oh. Hey, we were fine the whole time. Sagan's not getting any counters for a while, but we could get a treasure from this rat soon. Jund from our opponent. There's the Blitzball ramping up into pretty much any bombs they've got. There's Nibelheim of Flame. Nibelheim of Flame on the biggest Sahagin ever? Eventually. Just you wait. Just you wait. Could Nibelheim a Flame to kill a single creature because it's funny, but obviously it's better to just corner it. I've got Death Touch Nibelheim a Flame again. Soon enough. Fat Chocobo, cornered by Black Mage, doesn't do anything against that. Set up the Death Toucher and pass? Doesn't sound crazy to me. It is a little bit of a bummer. And the Black Mage still does something here. Just kill this token, and then this sits around until it sacks itself. But the first time I cast this, I don't have to ditch my hand, so I probably shouldn't do all that. Play the Mountain here to play around them, making me discard a card. I can just ditch the Swamp. Still have a Flame ready. We're hoping they just play a bunch of creatures to the board. Let's go. Genova only triggers if we kill their creature during their turn, right? Dies during your turn. Yeah, we are gonna board wipe them. Okay, this might be the first time we actually die to the one flaw in Nibelheim of Flame, which is that if they have instant speed removal, if they have the -2/-2 at instant speed here, they blow this up in response to Nibelheim of Flame and we lose. The alternative here is really bad, though. Anyway, right, if I just wait, trying to play around that. Take 6 off Genova. Gives them more options to draw into more. I guess they're at 15 and I can get a ping 1 here. And kill the Chocobo. This might be super wrong, but I'm going to play around the 2-mana instant speed removal. Doesn't seem like they have it with how they're playing here, but we'll see. Take 6 next turn. Yeah, it's just going straight to blocks. So we know they don't have a 2-mana instant speed removal spell. Probably. Maybe they do. Beautiful. They completely tap out. We know it's going to resolve. And they're not going to draw any cards. They're at 11, so I think every single tiny point of damage matters here. So I am going to draw a card off of Ahriman, but I don't think I'm sacking a wizard. I think I'm sacking one of these two, because they're not going to attack through the big booties anyway. I'll sack the treasure provider. Because it might be relevant. We might draw into something immediately castable. And Call the Mountain Chocobo is immediately castable. There's a 1 in 5 million chance that they don't block this Sahagin and we get 1 more point in. Okay. It was worth a shot. I was not going to call the Mountain Chocobo pre-Nibelheim of Flame. Lose that extra creature here. I mean, maybe for the extra 2 pings, we'd hit for 4. It'd be at 5, but again, losing the extra Chocobo, probably not worth it. I actually don't have a mountain in my deck for this. That's kind of sad. Without a mountain for this, do I just sack the treasure, draw a card? 7. No, I need backup creatures for a smaller Nibelheim of Flame. And against removal. We gotta just get creatures out here. Yeah, so there's the one removal spell. Now we hit for 2. I want to say 3, but I don't have more mountains to know that I get a landfall trigger here. Could top deck a land, which isn't great, but thanks to landfall, it's not useless. Because the Nibelheim of Flame makes us discard our whole hand, we cast the Call the Mountain Trip on our hand rather than our grave first, I think. Although it would be more mana efficient the other way around. This thing comes back tapped, right? Yeah, if they tap out for that, they're just dead to chocobos. They need to removal spell another chocobo or play a good blocker here. I would honestly be most concerned if they just had a good blocker, just like a 4-mana 4/4 or something would be rough. But I guess I could send one chocobo in. They'd kind of have to block, and then I can Nibelheim a Flame on the other chocobo to finish it off, so even then we'd have a plan. If they have removal, they kind of need to do it sorcery speed to get another treasure, to get closer to flipping their side quest. Yeah. Sephiroth's Intervention it is, which is a really good one. The gain 2 is incredibly relevant right now, so that's rough. But speaking of things that are incredibly relevant right now, so is ping 1 every time I play a spell. They've got another instant, more instant speed removal. Kill this chocobo here. I'm just going to cast this before they get priority to kill my wizard and stop the ping. I was just wandering, so yeah, that's fine. Another removal spell is our opponent's best bet. Kill one of our creatures and get a 5/6 blocker untapped. 5/6 way bigger than everything we have on board, but we still have an active Black Mage's Rod at that point, and they don't have the removal. World's most surprising run ever. Grixis control nonsense. Currently 4-0. Undefeated, 4 wins in a row. Close to break even here. One more win and we're in the money. Really excellent run from Grixis Control. Good stuff here. I mean, it's helped a lot drawing Nibelheim of Flame basically every game. So solid run. We're 4-0 heading into Game 5. Game 5 here. No blue for Ultros, but we have Dire Rat into Cornered by Black Mages into Intervention, which is still a keep. Unfortunately, on the draw again. So if they've got a good aggressive curve, we'll be scared. Another black source is rough. 3 black sources before the 1 blue. There's the world map. Play that post Black Mages and get a ping off of it too, which is cute. Mountain Cycle, the Hill Giant thing. It's probably not getting the ping here. We probably just play Island for turn. Yeah. I guess I'm not playing Ultros right now. Yeah, I still should have waited on this. I'm not playing Ultros right now, so there's a chance that I top deck Tonberry, and I want to play Tonberry for 1 and Cornered by Black Mages for 3, in which case I'd want 3 black sources on board. So just in case we top deck the Tonberry, we actually don't play the island that turn. So we're just chilling for now. But to be fair, so is our opponent, and we've got a single 2/2, really. Thunder Magic Ultros, sure. Reno and Rude. Pass. Don't have the mana to kill that and play the flyer, so I'm just going to play the flyer here. We've got pressure on our opponent's life total. Now I can sack our creatures in response to removal if they kill anybody other than the flyer. Okay. Kill the flyer is sad. I don't think we have enough pressure on their life total to not just sack the mage token here. Ice Magic, decent draw. No equip. Just gonna sack the sword here. You wanna play my swamp that bad? Land for turn. 2 cards in hand, tons of mana. Just the equip. Fair. Call the Mountain Choke, but that's a good draw. 7 mana. I cannot intervention and call the Mountain Choke this turn. And I kind of think I need to just intervention Reno and Rude right now. Could do the bounce to hand and call the Mountain Chocobo. That's not going to be right, though. I guess I could put them on top and keep intervention for a better threat. But I have enough mana. Well, I don't have double blue, so I couldn't do the shuffle back in later. I'll just put Reno and Root on top, I guess. Okay. Draw it, play it, equip it, pass. Just time walk them here. And now I have the mana to play removal plus creature, which is what we really wanted to do. Now I get to keep the intervention as well, which is even better. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Next turn I can call the Mountain Chocobo and hold up stuck in Summoner's Sanctum, so I think it's better to intervention here. So I can double spell and still play removal next turn. The only way this works worse is if they play a creature with a static ability that gets through the Summoner's Sanctum. Okay, I already hit the mountain. So I've got no mountains left for this. So I don't pre-combat it and then play the mountain that I find. I have no more mountains to find. Just landfall pre-combat. Overkill a Chocobo. Love to see that. That's where getting 2 creatures off 1 spell plays so well in these late games. Grixis deck with barely any mountains and call the Mountain Chocobo is still clutch just for 2 creatures? It's so weird. It's so weird. Put them to 3. Again, I have enough cards that ping my opponent every time I cast a spell that I think I wait till our turn in case we hit one. Like so. Now we put them to 1 life because we waited. They scoop! 5-0, baby, straight into the money. Anything that happens from here, and we're leaving this event with more gems than we paid to enter it, feels great, but we're also only 2 potential wins away from the collector booster boxes. Well, the 1 collector booster box. What a run from Grixis control of all decks. Sweet, sweet stuff out of this sealed pool. And we'll see if we can't take it any farther, heading into game number 6 now. Here we are for game 6. I am going to keep this, but no red is a huge downside to this hand. We do need to draw pretty well. But we are on the draw, which helps, and then this Pixie we just drew into is incredibly helpful as well if they don't have the cheap removal. And they're on mono blue for now. Here's the Pixie. Still mono blue from our opponent, but they could have stuck in Summoner's Sanctum at this point to keep our Pixie tapped forever. At 3 mana at common. Let's hope they don't have that. We'll see. They do not. We get the attack trigger to surveil. Mill anything that isn't a land here. And I think I even mill an island at this point. I have a second copy of Cornered by Black Mages even if I don't hit a land, so even if it takes a little longer to hit Sephiroth's Intervention, getting closer to Suplex and Nibelheim of Flame is worth it, I think. Probably counterspell this, I guess. Unless their hand is like super light on playables, maybe? Maybe it is? Oh, Island Cycling makes sense. That's 4 blue sources and no secondary color still, though. They did not draw the secondary color still. Got the Cornered by Black Mages and an Ice Magic. Show me the mountains, please. We're both having mana issues, but we are surveilling a lot to try to help our issues get out of the way. Draw 2 is huge. That helps a lot. It still doesn't get there. Wow, I'm just loaded with removal. No matter what we draw. I think we keep that. Just another flyer to get more damage in. Right, because they're like going to play a creature here, I can deal with it at instant speed and then play a flyer when we untap. Or they just don't play a creature and we're jamming. So desperate for the mountains. It's getting embarrassing at this point. The desperation. But our opponent definitely feels that. Their draws are wild. There's 1 red source. If they have fire magic to wipe the whole board, they're still in this game. It's the only thing I can think of below rare. It is an instant. So if they got it here, but now I can sack a creature and draw a card in response. They gotta cast something, or they're going to 2 life now against a black mage. Kill that, it's the only creature I can't draw a card off of. I'd rather let that resolve than Ice Magic it, I think. Still hit for 4 here. I don't have the mana to like recast it after an Ice Magic. Yeah, we just let it. If they're low enough, I'm definitely not sacking this either. Emperor of Palamecia. Tons of ways to kill that. They don't have another removal spell. Killing it right now is lethal. Go for the tap. Could have a hexproof trick, they'd still die though. Alright. Yeah, they're still dead. Cool. There's the concession from our opponent. Really horrific draws from our opponent there. But it just goes to show you that when you're in these like competitive tournaments, each game is just another game. It's not really like things are going to get harder and harder and harder as you go, and it's going to be like perfect draws from your opponent every time. It's like, could be just the game 1. Oh, I just hit the wrong color. It's over. You just got to take it game by game, and they just didn't hit their colors, and the game's over. It's as simple as that. That could have happened game 1, could have happened game 6, and lucky for us, it happened game 6, gave us a free 6th win. So when we have really huge prizes on the line is when we get our easiest victory of the day. Really, really lucky that our opponent got unlucky in that game and not like one of these really early ones that didn't matter as much. So, all right. Yeah, it feels bad to be our opponent there, but we are 6-0 now. We now have 2 rounds in the chamber for the final battle. If we can win 1 out of the next 2 games, we can get a collector booster box. So fingers crossed here. The deck's been working great so far, but you never know what can happen. There are some crazy, crazy cards in Sealed, so we'll see how it all wraps up for us as we head into the final battle. All right, here we are on the play. Tonberry into Ilmag Pixie is one of the most aggressive curves our deck can do. Love to see it. On the play, 1-drop creature, 2-drop creature. Let's get this game rolling. Pretty weak against fire magic. That does damage to all creatures. 1 red mana does 1 damage to all creatures with that card, so obviously stressed about that. But if they're not playing red, this is an excellent start. Or if they just don't have that in their deck. Okay, no red so far. Black-white from our opponent. There's Black Mage's Rod, but we have the aggressive curve out. Ultros is not bad either. Yeah, they have no good blocks, and we get to surveil by sending the attack in. This is easy. I'll keep the red source, even with the world map here, because we do like double red. Well, yeah, double red is pretty important, and I only have 3 mountains in the entire deck, so it feels a little bold to mill a mountain. Because if I mill 2 mountains, then I'm never casting our double red cards. Ping them down to 15 and pass. I guess we've got the dual lands, right? No, we don't have red duals. I lied. We have Blitzball is what it is. And a treasure token from our rat. Sentinel's the only annoying blocker here, so stick that in the Summoner Sanctum. To keep pushing damage here, keep the pressure on our opponent. Then crack a world map for the second black, probably. Or I can hold on to the world map, because who knows if I draw Nibelheim of Flame or if I draw the other card. We have 2 different double black cards, right? Cornered by Black Mages. Oh, if we draw into Cornered by Black Mages, that makes Stuck in Summoner Sanctum a lot worse, and I have 2 copies of that, so it might be worth it to just hold off on Stuck right now and just play Ultros. I still hit for 4 and Surveil. I hit for 2 less. I mean, if I play Stuck in Summoner Sanctum, they can also just trade here. Yeah, let's just go for Ultros this turn. I think that's still good damage. Okay, there's the second black. I think I do just want to draw spells. Yeah, I've got a lot more swamps than mountains, so I could still crack this for a swamp if need be, depending on what we draw. Okay, do that and just hold off on the world map. We have a second mountain in the deck. We definitely have a second swamp in the deck. If we draw Nibelheim of Flame, I can crack it, get the mountain, cast it. If we draw Cornered by Black Mages, I can crack it, get the swamp, cast it. Although this is not a board state where I want to cast Nibelheim of Flame. It's just worth noting I could if I need to. Our opponent also on 3 color naturally finds all 3 turn 3, white, black, and blue. Turn 4, White Mage's Staff ping us for 1, and the life gain on that staff is a little concerning. But we still got great attacks with the Pixie and the Tonberry. They don't get a 4th land, it looks like. Send in the Sentinel. That is so cool with me. Now I don't need to re-equip at all. I would have to re-equip on a Tonberry to still get the first strike attack in there. Oh, see, that's why we play the way we did. With the world map. Do I pre-combat this thing? Yeah, I just pre-combat this, I believe. Yeah, now our Stuck in Summoner Sanctum is way better. If we cast this prematurely, the sack spell would have been horrific. So I'm so happy we sequenced like that. Thought about the fact that we have a bunch of Cornered by Black Mages in this deck. And played around that, played with that in mind. So yeah, 2 different things that don't look like much, but were really important to do. Wait on the world map and see what we draw, and don't play Stuck in Summoner Sanctum in case we draw Cornered by Black Mages. Put them to 4 here. Lose a black mage, but I can just re-equip. Yeah, it's worth the damage for sure. Blitzball? I can cast Blitzball and Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum in the same turn for a double black mage ping. No, 1 legend out if they don't kill Ultros. Honestly, I don't mind it. I'll keep it. Okay, no double ping if they kill the black mage instead. They are down to 4. I mean, it is double ping. I ping once for Blitzball, once for Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum. Judge, 1 mana up. 1 single blue mana shouldn't be able to interact with a flyer. Ping for 1, equip the flyer, that's game? And there's a lot of ways to win this. Just cast 2 spells also wins it, so we'll cast 2 spells. And just in case they somehow have some instant bounce or something. This is already lethal. Oh my god! We got 2 free games in a row to end this draft off, end the sealed off, and win the collector box. We did better than our first run, 7-0 instead of 7-1. What a fantastic, incredibly lucky run to end things off with. Whew. Wow. 7-0, not a single loss with this deck. I really wasn't expecting that. This is a really unique deck. Grixis controls a fun archetype. We've played blue-black control decks before in draft. This is quite similar to that. Wow. Yeah, this deck... I haven't quite done like a full Grixis control deck, so I really wasn't certain how well this was going to be, but this looked synergistic to me. It looked solid to me, and good lord, did it play out well? We got tremendously lucky, which is always very important. And makes up for some of the potentially less lucky runs we've had earlier. Yeah. The deck as a whole, a massive overperformer. I don't really know what else to say. We drew Nibelheim of Flame a lot. That was consistently great. That was really lucky. We had it alongside Ahriman in some games and alongside Tonberry in some games, so having the Death Toucher to go with it was also quite good. All of these black mages, all these wizards pinging for damage was great. As I said before, relatively aggressive curve. Some of those games, especially the last 2, we just get some damage going and don't really give our opponents the time to stabilize after some rough mana starts. Now those last 2 opponents got really unlucky, so I think even a weaker deck could definitely have accomplished that, but the early pressure is a real thing, especially with all that late game ping damage, so loved that. This is a fantastic Dark Confidant deck. The most expensive card in the whole deck is 4 mana, so we really don't get shot that hard by this thing, and this is a deck that really gains a lot of advantage by spamming a bunch of cheap spells, so drawing multiple cards each turn is also really helpful, just for those last few points of chip damage too with the Black Mage's Rod. I think there were 1 or 2 games I played really bad. There was 1 game I played super horribly. The game that I didn't intervention their Ignis, we almost punted that into the trash. So I don't think that this is the tightest we've played. I think we played better in some of the runs that we went like 4-2 or 5-2 in. If there was justice in the world, we probably should have lost the game against Ignis there, because that was a huge, huge punt, forgetting that I can just exile our Nibelheim of Flame from the grave. But luckily, there's no justice in the world, and the villains always win, and I am the villain today. We take those. Super cool deck. Very interesting stuff. You don't get to do that often, in Sealed in particular. And I'm super happy to win another collector booster box. Or, worst case scenario, if they run out of collector booster boxes, they do pay you out $455 cash. That's also pretty reasonable, I would say, because that is less than I've paid on getting all the gems to do all these runs. So now I'm up in cold hard cash, and I keep a Final Fantasy collector booster box for myself, as long as they send me the one that I won the first try, which if they don't, I'm going to lose my mind, because the first collector booster box we won was literally right when the event started. So if they're going to be like, we ran out of boxes, I'm going to be like, I won at the earliest possible time. Give me the box. But it is possible, if they run out of boxes, if there's enough people playing this event, that it works in a way where it doesn't really care when you won the boxes. It just kind of randomly divvies them out. That would suck. And then maybe I wouldn't get a box. But odds are I get at least one of these boxes for real. And then maybe $450. If I get both these boxes for real, we're way up in the money. Anyways, that whole spiel out of the way. I'm happy. I'm a happy camper. I don't think I've ever gotten 2 collector booster boxes in one of these runs before. But I also haven't played as much in the other runs, because every other set I don't care that much about. I mean, I like the sets. I love playing with the cards, but I can play with the cards all day long on Arena. The only thing I play in paper is Commander, and I like playing flavorful Commander decks about characters that I really personally love. So sets like Final Fantasy, Lord of the Rings, or like a Ravnica set that has like a Borborygmos, stuff like that. If there's characters I really like, Hour of Devastation and Amonkhet were huge sets for me because I love Nicol Bolas, then I'll collect the cards and paper to play with in Commander. But most sets, like Aetherdrift, Duskmourn, Dragons of Tarkir, all the stuff recently, I own basically no paper cards of, because I'm like, I like playing the set. I love drafting it. I love playing it in sealed, but I'm not really going to play any of those cards in Commander. So I've been doing the thing where I'll just play till I win one box and then stop. So I didn't really have an opportunity to win more than one box before. But that said, it is still incredible to win more than one box here and do it with such a cool set and such a cool deck. Yeah. Again, no justice in the world. If there were justice, we would have won one of the earlier runs where we were playing tighter, and not this one where I made a pretty major misplay in at least one of these games. But I'm happy to win some boxes, so we'll take those. That is a 7-0 run. Another collector booster box of Final Fantasy in the bag. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and are interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube audience send some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.